Hello and welcome to Super Great Kids Stories, wise tales from storytellers around the world which will make you laugh and sometimes cry. Recommended for ages 5 to 105. I'm Kim and I love stories. Our theme is birds, and this week we have a quirky Romanian folktale called The Cheeky Cockerel. Hello, super great kids, and how are you? I'm very happy because it's holiday time here in the UK and I've been walking by the sea and enjoying watching 10 fluffy little ducklings who live on a pond nearby. And we have a new storyteller to introduce you to, Justine de Mierre, who's going to tell us a tale about a very cheeky cockerel, which some of you would call a rooster. Now, just before we get to our story, while we have a quick word with the grown-ups, I've got a little question for you. If you were a bird, what kind of a bird would you like to be, and why? Would you be a water bird like a heron, or a woodland bird like a woodpecker, or a bird of prey like an eagle? Have a little think. Are you ready? Off you go. Hello, super great kids, I'm back. I think I'd have to say that I'd like to be an owl because Story Owl is glaring at me with her big round eyes and I think I should be loyal to her. But between you and me, I'd really like to be a robin because they have a beautiful song and they're very friendly. Maybe you could send us a picture of the bird you chose. Send it to us at facebook.com/supergreatkidsstories. And now it's time for our new storyteller who's going to tell you a story about a rather noisy bird. Are you sitting comfortably? Am I sitting comfortably? Then let Justine's story come flip-flapping out.
Hello, super great kids. My name is Justine de Mierre and I am a storyteller from the east of England, which if you look at a map of England, it's that bump on the side. And I have a story to tell you today that comes all the way from Romania. And I love this story because there's different versions of it from all around the world. So you might have heard bits of it before, but this one's my favourite version. And it goes like this. Once upon a time, there was an old man. And he lived by himself, except for his best friend. And his best friend was a cockerel. And every morning, the cockerel would climb up onto the roof and it would sing out. And you know what cockerels say, don't you? Of course. Can you join in with me? Cock-a-doodle-doo! And every morning, when the hen who lived next door heard the cockerel say, cock-a-doodle-doo, she would run down to her nest and she would lay an egg. Well, time passed, and the old man fell on hard times. It wasn't long before he had no money, no food in the cupboard, nothing to eat. And then just as he was about to despair, he remembered. Well, every morning when my cockerel crows, next door's hen lays an egg, so I could just ask my neighbour for an egg. So that's what he did. He went next door and he knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. And the door opened with a creak. And there was the old woman who lived next door. And she said, "What do you want?" And the old man said, "I'm terribly sorry to disturb you. It's just that, well, I've fallen on hard times and I don't have anything to eat. And I wondered, since your hen always lays eggs, if you had a spare egg for me." And she said, "No," slammed the door in his face. He said, "Oh, there must be some mistake." And he tried knocking again. Knock, knock, knock. And the door opened again. And the old woman said, "Yes?" And he said, I'm your neighbour and I'm really hungry and my cockerel always crows and your hen always lays eggs. Surely you can just spare me one." And the old woman said, "Why don't you try beating your cockerel the way I beat my hen? Then maybe he'd lay an egg for you." And she slammed the door in his face again. Well, The poor old man began thinking as he walked back to his house, and he thought, well, maybe I am doing wrong. Maybe I should beat my cockerel. And he went into the house, and he started chasing the cockerel round the house, going, come here, let me beat you so you can lay me an egg. And the cockerel was running around, saying, what on earth are you talking about? Leave me alone. And the man chased him round and round and round until the cockerel managed to run out of the door and all the way down the road to safety. And then, well, the cockerel started thinking to himself, my poor master, if he's so hungry that he wants to beat up his best friend, he must be terribly desperate. I should probably see if I can do something to help him. He's been so kind to me up until now. And the cockerel looked around in the road, and suddenly he spotted a little purse. And so he went over to the purse, and with his beak he opened it, and inside there were 2 coins, and he thought, oh, that's perfect. I'll be able to use those 2 coins and buy some bread for my master. And so he closed the little purse, and he put it in his beak, and he started walking all the way back home. He'd only got halfway back when there came alongside him a very smooth, shiny black carriage. And in the carriage there was a very rich man. And the rich man looked out of the window of the carriage, and then he said to his driver, "Can you just stop and see what that cockerel has inside its mouth there?" And the driver said, "Very good, sir." And he stopped the carriage, and he got out, went up to the cockerel, and just took the purse out of his mouth. And he said to the rich man, "It seems to be a little purse with 2 coins inside it." And the rich man said, "I'll have that then, thank you very much." And so the driver just took the purse and gave it to the rich man. And the carriage went off down the road. The cockerel couldn't believe it. He just took my little purse. And so he started running after the carriage. And this is what he said: "Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-dack, that's my little purse, now give it back." Can you join in with me? Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-dack, that's my little purse, now give it back. Well, the rich man had never been spoken to like that before. He was so annoyed. He said, "Driver, stop this carriage at once, take that cockerel and throw him down the nearest well." And the cockerel protested, "You just stolen my purse and you're going to throw me down a well." But the driver didn't listen. The driver took him to the well and started throwing him down there. And as he fell down and he tumbled over and over and over, and he started thinking, I wonder if I open my beak, I could drink all the water in this well and then I'd have a nice soft landing. And he decided to give it a try. As soon as he hit the water, he opened his beak and he sucked up all the water until it was all gone, and he landed softly at the bottom of the well. And then he flapped his wings as hard as he could. He flapped and he flapped and he flapped and he flapped until he was out of the well. And then he started chasing that carriage again. And you know what he said? Can you join in with me? "Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-dack, that's my little purse, now give it back." He chased the carriage all the way to the rich man's house. And when the rich man got out and saw him, he was livid. He said, "Cook, take this cockerel and put him in the oven. We shall have him for tea." And the cook took the cockerel, and the cockerel couldn't believe it. He said, "You stole my purse, you threw me down a well, and now you're going to eat me for tea." But the cook didn't listen. He put the cockerel inside the oven, and when the cockerel was inside the oven, he thought, if I just drunk all of that water, maybe I could spit it all out on these hot coals and escape. And that's exactly what he did. He took all the water that he'd sucked up from the well and he went and all the water went over the hot coals and put them out and burst out of the oven. And the cockerel made his way to the parlour where the rich man was sitting, and he tapped on the window of the parlour. And you know what he said? "Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-dack, that's my little purse, now give it back." The rich man was so angry. He said to his servants, "Servants, take this cockerel, and I want you to throw him into my field of cattle so you can be spiked on the horns of the bulls." And all the servants came out, and they grabbed the cockerel, and the cockerel couldn't believe it. He said, "You stole my purse, and you threw me down a well, and you tried to eat me, and now you're going to spike me on the horns of the bulls." But the servants didn't listen. They took him to the field, and they threw him up into the air. And as he was spinning round and round in the air, he suddenly thought, well, if I drank all the water in the well and I put out the hot coals, why don't I just open my beak and eat all the bulls and the cows in this field? And so he gave it a try. He opened his beak as wide as he could and he ate the first bull and the second bull, and then all the cows and all the calves until he was completely full of all the cattle that had been in the field. He was the size of a house by now. And he waddled back to the rich man's house. And he tapped this time on the very top of the window of the room the rich man was sitting. And you know what he said? "Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-dack! That's my little purse, now give it back." The rich man could not believe it. He was beside himself with anger. He said, "Servants, take this cockerel and put him into my treasury, my strongest room. He'll never escape that." And the servants came out, and they took the cockerel, even as big as he was, and they pushed him towards the treasury. The cockerel couldn't believe it. You stole my purse, and you tried to push me down a well, and then tried to eat me, and then tried to throw me on the spikes of the horns of the bulls, and now you're going to put me in the treasury?" But to no avail. All of the servants worked together to push the cockerel inside the treasury and shut the door behind him and put on all of the locks. And when the cockerel was inside, he suddenly thought, well, if I could drink all the water and put out the hot coals and eat all of the bulls, why don't I just eat all of the silver and the gold that's in here? So he did. First of all, he ate up all of the silver pieces, and then he ate up all of the gold pieces, and then he found some diamonds, and he ate those, and then the emeralds, and the sapphires, and the rubies. And the more he ate, the bigger he grew. And he grew so big, he was even bigger than the rich man's house, so big that he burst out of that treasury. And he waddled back to the rich man's house. And this time, he tapped on the top of the chimney with his beak, and you know what he said? "Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-dack! That's my little purse, now give it back." And the rich man knew when he was beaten. And he said, "Oh, all right then." And he took the little purse and he threw it up the chimney. And the cockerel caught it in his beak and said, "Thank you very much." And then he started waddling down the road. And all of the hens and the chicks that belonged to the rich man were so impressed. They followed after him, saying, "Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-dack! It was his little purse, now he's got it back." And they all jumped up and went for a ride underneath the big cockerel's wings. The cockerel made his way back to his old master's house. Now, you can imagine, if you had had a big argument with your best friend and he came back to your house bigger than the size of the house itself, you would be very afraid. And the old master was. And when he saw the cockerel coming, he said, "I'm so sorry, old friend. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just so desperate and so hungry." And the cockerel said, "Don't worry. I haven't come back to punish you for what you did then. I've come back to repay you for the years of kindness before. Now go inside your house and bring out the biggest sheet." And so the old man did exactly as he was told. He went inside the house and he brought out the biggest sheet he could and he put it in the yard outside the house. And then the cockerel stood in the middle of the sheet. And the first thing he did was open up his wings. And as he opened up his wings, all the hens and chicks that had followed him from the rich man's house flew out. And the old man said, "Oh, thank you, old friend. We will never want for eggs ever again." But the cockerel hadn't finished. He made this very strange noise in his throat. And then suddenly, out came all the cattle that he'd swallowed. All the bulls and all the cows and all the baby calves. The old man couldn't believe it. "We can start a cattle farm. We'll never even worry for money again. Oh, thank you, old friend." But the cockerel hadn't finished. He made another noise. And then suddenly, out came all the silver, all the gold, all the diamonds, the emeralds, the sapphires, the rubies. "Oh, my goodness," said the old man. We're rich beyond our wildest dreams. Oh, you are the best friend a man could ever wish for." And he was just about to give the cockerel a big hug when suddenly he heard a voice behind him going, "Ahem." And he turned around. And there was his neighbour, the old woman, the one that had refused him the egg. She said, "I think you'll find I've been a good neighbour. I've never bothered you, put up with this noisy cockerel here. I think I should have at least half of these riches." The old man said, "Half of these riches? When you wouldn't even spare me an egg when I had nothing? Do you know, maybe you should go back to your house and be kind to your hen, and then maybe your hen will repay you the way my cockerel has repaid me." The old woman was not impressed. She stomped back to her house and she thought, kind to the hen, how ridiculous. And instead, she took the hen and she beat her more than she'd ever beaten her before. This time, the hen wasn't having any of it. She ran away, and she found herself in the road, and ran off down the road as fast as she could. The old woman, she couldn't believe it. She was so angry. She thought, I'm going to get that hen. And she started running down the road after the hen, going, come back here! And that's the last anyone ever saw of her, because the hen had not run all the way down the road. She had veered off the path and ran all the way back to join her true love, the cockerel, who was still at the old man's house. And when she came there, well, the old man said, you two, after all these years, deserve to be married. And so he threw them the most wonderful wedding. And the old man and the cockerel and the hen and all of the other animals lived happily ever after. And as for the old woman, as far as I know, she's still running.
Thanks so much to Justine de Mierre for that story. I like that rhyme. Did you join in? Oh, I do love a good rhyme. Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-dat. That's my little purse now. Give it back. Did you know that there are lots of different ways of making the sound of a cockerel depending on which country you come from? So, in Spanish, it's kikiriki, and in Russian, it's kukariku, and in Korean, it's kokyo. I wonder how you say it in your country. And here's my question. If you were telling that story, what bird would you use as your main character? It wouldn't have to be a cockerel. It might be a canary, or a blackbird, or a peacock, or maybe even a duck. You could have fun with the indignant duck making lots of quacking noises. Quacky quack, quack, quack. My purse, give it back. Anyway, you get the picture. Now, lots of you have joined our Owlet Storytelling Club recently, so it's time to dig deep into our bag of happies and fly around the world with Story Owl to say thank you and welcome to some new owlets. Let's begin in New Jersey in the US to greet Owlet Will, who is 6, and his kittens Gumball and Pantalaimon. His favourite story is Puss in Boots, and anything told by storyteller Jason Buck. And let's fly up to Hamilton in Ontario in Canada now, where Beatrix became an owlet for her 7th birthday. And hello to her owlet sister, Edie, who is 5. Beatrix loves all the stories, especially the Magic Orange Tree and the ones told by Toop. And let's fly up to British Columbia in the Pacific Northwest to greet 4-year-old owlet O'Damin, which in the indigenous Anishinaabe language means heartberry or strawberry. What a great name! O'Damin became an owlet so he could listen to the super great scary stories. He has mixed heritage, a combination of Anishinaabe, Finnish, Irish and English. And his favourite stories are The Hairy Toe, Misery, Ghost of the Bloody Finger, and all the scary stories, including the ones he has yet to listen to. Welcome to the club. And let's go to Minnesota next to greet owlets Miles, who's 5, and Parker, who's 9. They've been big fans for quite a while. Miles loves the scary stories, and Parker's favourites are the Baba Yaga ones. A lot of scary story enthusiasts this week. And heading down to San Marcos in Texas now to greet owlet Vela, who is 6. Her favourite is the Ghost of the Bloody Finger, which she actually reenacts some mornings, and a Nancy and the Magic Pot. Her favourite storyteller is Toop. Let's go to Michigan now to say hello to Yarrow, who is 8 this month, and Sunday, who is 3. Yarrow's favourite is the 3 Billy Goats Gruff and anything by Jason Buck. The family loves listening in the car and when they're folding laundry together. And up to Toronto in Canada now to greet 7-year-old twins Arlan and Silas. Listening to stories is Arlan's favourite thing to do in the whole world. She's also a keen storyteller. Her favourites are Puss in Boots and The Hairy Toe. And Silas's favourites are The Ghost of the Bloody Finger, The Great Race and Jack's Diamond. And Jason Buck is his favourite storyteller. And staying in Toronto, let's greet Owlet William Douglas, who is 4, who loves Baba Yaga and Coyote stories. His favourite storytellers are Jason Buck, Kim and Toop. And last but not least, let's head to Ireland to greet Owlet Alice, who is 6 and loves all of the stories, especially Frau Holler. She's also a fan of books, including The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Welcome all of you to the club. That's all of the Owlet shout-outs for this week. More next week. If you'd like to send us a picture, maybe of the giant cockerel tapping his beak on the chimney of the rich man's house, or a picture of any of your favourite stories, then send it via our website at supergreatkidsstories.com or by Meta on our Facebook page, facebook.com/supergreatkidsstories. And we can share your art with other story lovers on our Facebook page and Instagram art gallery at supergreatkids_art. And thanks to all of you who are subscribing to our podcast. It's very kind of you. It's only £3 a month, less than $4, to get advert-free and access to all the scary stories. And if you pay for the next tier up, you'll get advert-free plus over 50 bonus stories and over 30 super great scary stories. Plus, you'll get access to our Super Great Kids Stories Express. Great for listening to stories back to back. Visit our website for more details, supergreatkidsstories.com. That's it for now. Keep telling those stories and singing your songs. This podcast was produced by Kim Normanton and David Smith at Wardour Studios in fabulous Fitzrovia in London.